my dad is laughing, but he's like, no. And he's 100, but he doesn't speak much, but that's what he's saying. And my mom's like, ha ha, you do, well, you know. Anyways, mom's funny like that because I don't think any of us even know how do any of us know how babies are made? I don't think any of the Paraisos do, right? My mom and dad did love each other really so much. It was incredible. They couldn't be without each other. So my dad would go grocery shopping, and he would be in the electric wheelchair, or wheelchair. The shopping in it, right? The scooter. He was in the scooter. He was in the electric wheelchair, and he'd be going around the corners, and it never failed. Michael, remember this? It's funny, right? So my dad would go around a corner, and you know how they have all the boxes or cans or whatever stacked at the end of the aisles? Well, my dad would take the cart, had the basket in the front and then the seat, and it was just so big. He would take around the corner and he would go here and he would literally knock the whole thing down. Every week, am I right, honey? Every week. So we stopped taking him, and my mom and dad hated it. Every time she'd say, well, why can't he come? I said, Mom, he knocks all the stuff down. He can't even drive that. How can I drive you and him? It doesn't work that way. Anyways, and then my dad would just look up and say, you're not taking me with you? And I'm like, no, Dad, it's okay. You don't have to work today. Just, sit down. Anyway, I was going to say how it's just pretty cool how amazing my dad was and my mom. They do anything for us. We were hiking. I don't know if everybody else remembers it, but I barely remember it. I was so sick. I was dry heaving. And my dad waited for me, and everybody else went to the lake. They're tired of waiting for me because I would stop, and I threw up so much I was dry heaving like over and over again. And so my dad stayed with me, and I was just like, Dad, just go ahead. It's okay. I'll make it. I'll just, I'll be okay. Just give me time. And he said no. And he picked me up and he carried me on his back, okay? It's not that incredible, but the thing was, my dad's so short, and I was as tall as he was, okay? So he's giving me a piggyback ride, and my legs are touching the ground, and he takes me all the way to the lake. It was such an incredible, it was an incredible experience for me. I'll never forget that. I think I was like 10 or 11. I was seriously as big as he was. That'd be like me taking Raylan in another 2 years and piggybacking her really far. We were far. I don't know. It was crazy. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. My dad he was so quiet, but he had a sense of humor. So, we took care of him until he was 101. And every time I'd ask him, so, Dad, how are you feeling today? He would say, with my hands. And it took me forever to understand what he was doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? You feel, I'm like, oh, duh. That was his quiet sense of humor. He was such a funny man. So, that dry sense of humor. So, anyways, I'm going to let other people share. I got a better story than her, not that we're competitive or anything. No, it's one thing. No, but my mom and dad taught us to really just do our best, and I know we're a pretty competitive family. I think, no, we're not really, but anyways, so we were at this tournament. John didn't want us to tell the story, so now I have to. Thanks, John. We were at a tournament, and John fell asleep because he had a really hard day of competing that day, and so he was super tired, and he was out. And my mom and dad were in the room, Jackie and I and Joey. I don't know what tournament it was up north somewhere, because my mom and dad were so awesome. They used to take us to tournaments and pay for the hotel so we could compete. But anyways, John had this dream that he was fighting on the court, and he, in his dream, he sat up, or he was sleep talking, and he dreamt that he was fighting me. He's like, you blah, 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 blah. And he said some really bad stuff, and my mom was like, bastos, which meant like, that's a really bad, nasty, whatever he said. But I won't repeat it. But anyways, it was just funny. And my dad had to tell us to go to bed, because we kept laughing the whole time, because it was funny that he woke us all up and was cussing in his sleep. I did have a saying that I read on Facebook. It said, life might not bring you the best song or play the best song for you, but you can always choose how you want to dance. So I thought of my mom and dad when I read that, because it was a great saying, and they loved to dance, and they taught us to enjoy life and to have a good time and to bless others. So that's all I got, I think.
It's pretty funny because my parents, my dad thought he was really healthy. So we'd go to tournaments, and the funny thing is my dad would get up early in the morning, go get breakfast. And here we are trying to compete in these tournaments, and he would go to Carl's Jr. And he would get me the fried French toast waffle things with the syrup and the eggs. And then I would play a match, and I would wonder, why am I so tired? I'm like, I feel terrible when I'm playing, and I'm tired, but I know I'm in shape. And it wasn't until later that I got older that I realized my dad wasn't giving me the best meal for my matches, but I can't blame him for any matches that I lost. That was my fault, but it was just funny. My parents really tried to be healthy, and they lived a long life. So I guess they were correct in trying to do that and stay in shape. Anyway, my parents were funny with food and stuff. Being Filipino, I think they were trying to adapt to culture and eat healthy, but it's against everything they were ever. Filipino culture, right, is not necessarily healthy. But we used to do a thing on Thursday nights where we didn't eat meat. That was kind of fun, but we ate boiled peanuts and cantaloupe. And it was just a weird dinner, but we'd all kind of eat that dinner, kind of make my mom happy, and then we would just go in the refrigerator later and just pick out. But it's funny, you guys all know who Joe Coy is, the comedian? It's really funny to listen to him, because I didn't grow up with other Filipinos. But it's funny to see all the cultural things that my parents brought over from the Philippines, like the fork and the knife, all the little statues and things, the coconut shredder thing. I don't remember my mom using that too much, but we did have it. And they did always take leftovers and make omelets with them the next day. So that was a thing, right? So that was pretty fun. But anyway, I'm really grateful for the lifestyle that my parents had for us. And pretty amazing to see everybody here. Thanks for everybody for coming out. And that's all I got for now, and I did pretty good. So.
cute he is. Huh? What do you think? Wait, who?
Giving a boop? Are you booping? Boop. Silly. Can you blow kisses? Blow kisses. Mwah. Mwah. Cannonball match, blah blah blah, for $1,000, right? And so I'm like,
For how much?
They said a match.
Okay.
Not a match is not a game.
Yeah.
Anyways, we played the first game and we were lights out, right? He's diving all over the place, acing me, and I'm like just finally getting the hang of it, right? And I lose. Like, what was the score? Was it 21-19 or something? It was really tight.
What was the one that was 21-6? You told me something was 21-6. Okay, 21-19. Okay.
And then so I'm like, oh, we get out and he's just like, oh man, that was a great match. That wasn't a match. He goes, we're not done. You know, he's like shaking. I go, a match is more than one game. He goes, oh no, that's it. I go, what?
I may have created my own story. You never can tell with me.
I don't even recognize this story. Was this the same
And
one?
he wouldn't play it again. I was like, it's not fair.
I couldn't even move. I was laying back in the restroom.
That's the part I heard.
That definitely happened.
He was seriously diving around. It was awesome.
And he said he was like 50 and you were what? How old were you? 10. No, I don't know.
You were the champ. I know that.
I don't know, maybe 30.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, thank you.
That was fun.
You have really good control.
They said you could return every serve. Every serve. So it was 0-0 for a long time.
He aced me a couple times at the end. I was like, wow, how do you do that? It cracked out. Nobody was getting out.
Well, you guys put on a great party, Jackie. This was wonderful.
So much fun. It was,
This is the way my parents would want it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Generous and giving and
Yeah.
happy and fun.
Yeah. Tropical. And I like the theme.